If you've ever come across some pretty pebbles while walking in nature, you've probably wondered if any of them have any value. Well, there are two possibilities. Either you ignored an ordinary rock or you missed a golden opportunity. But no matter what stones you find lying around, how do you know which ones are valuable? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in today's video, because here on the channel, we've already talked about how to find different types of precious stones in nature, including meteorites, which are apparently very valuable ugly stones with the potential for millions of dollars that are often overlooked by the layman. But in the midst of so many stones, it's hard to know which are valuable and which are just ordinary stones. So I put together a list of the top 5 gems you can find in nature. If you're paying attention, you're bound to find at least one of these 5 stones on every hike you take. And make no mistake, these rocks can be much more valuable than you might think. And then you might ask yourself, how valuable? Well, enough to add a few $1,000s to your bank account. But the advantage of semi-precious stones is not only in their value, but also in their quantity. Because when you find one, you usually end up finding several more in the same place. Unlike precious stones, where you have to look hard to find a single stone, with semi-precious stones you can find several in the same place. So stay tuned, pay attention to every stone you see in this video, because I'm sure this video will change the way you see the world. What's more, these 5 stones are important and can help you discover real riches that no one has ever found in your region. And as usual, this is another video that will help you find and identify simple but valuable stones. That's why it's important for you to understand one thing. All stones have a unique value, whether they are considered precious or semi-precious. This is because the value of a gemstone will always depend on the quality of the stone. In other words, the more crystalline and vivid the color of a gem, the more expensive it will be. Emeralds, for example, are very valuable stones. However, there are beautiful emeralds with a very obvious green color, but with an opaque appearance and not much luster. It's still a real emerald and expensive, but a super crystalline emerald can be much more valuable than a dull emerald. And the same reasoning applies to stones that are considered semi-precious, which are the most common stones you can find in nature. For this reason, I'm going to show you what level of quality and color a stone must have to be worth anything. In the case of semi-precious stones, the main thing you're looking for is a beautiful color. So let's start with the first stone you can find in nature. This stone is not the easiest to find or identify, especially if you're a beginner. But if you are lucky, you will find it. I'm talking about opals. We have talked a lot about this stone here on the channel and how valuable an opal can be. In case you didn't know, this stone is one of the most valuable in the world. And it can be found in all sorts of places around the world, in all sorts of colors and shades. The most expensive type of opal is fire opal, which is a very crystalline and beautiful orange opal.
This 1100 carat specimen shows most of the important characteristics of Mexican fire opal.
Then there's the noble opal, which is the opal that has this beautiful play of colors. And then there are the black opals, which are beautiful and highly prized in the gem market. But around the world, in several other countries, there are records of these expensive opals. But why am I mentioning opals in this video? Because unlike other stones, opal is a type of stone that you can find without having to dig very far. You can literally stumble upon an opal quarry out there, and it's important that you know some of the characteristics of this stone. It's a light stone compared to other stones. It's very similar to a piece of plastic. It's very smooth, and it can take on almost any color. You may not find a precious opal like this to be very valuable right away, but you can find other types of opals that are considered semi-precious and that will also have market value. And this value depends on the color of the opal. It can be purple, yellow, green, blue, or transparent. In general, semi-precious opals can cost between $20,000 and $5,000 per kilo. This is still in its raw state. And just like opals, another stone you're sure to find in nature, and maybe you've already seen if you follow the channel, is jasper. If you're not familiar with jasper, it's best known as a red or brown stone. However, jasper can be found in many different colors, and each color has a different trade name. There are so many commercial names and so many types of jasper that I could spend an hour just talking about the types and names. But what you have to keep in mind is this. The more colorful, vivid, and design variations it has, the more commercial and valuable the stone will be. There are vast, unexplored areas here in the United States, and you may be looking at a type of jasper that hasn't been cataloged yet. Or maybe a new type of jasper that hasn't been mentioned in any gemology book. The important thing to remember is that the more vivid and impressive the colors, the more valuable it will be as a commercial stone. Jaspers can range in price from $10 to $250 per kilo in their raw state. Another stone you're bound to come across somewhere is agate. This is certainly one of the most mentioned stones in the videos here on the channel. And if you're looking for it, you're sure to find an agate in nature. And the best part is that agates are valuable stones. But not just any agate will do. You have to find the right stones, choose the ones with the most beautiful color, and in the case of agates, the ones with the most beautiful designs are more valuable. The easiest feature to identify in an agate is the stripes that form these beautiful designs. It is very common to find these stones in rivers. They are extremely commercial stones, just like jasper. For this reason, many people end up ignoring these stones because they think they are ordinary stones. That's where many people are wrong. They may be common, but some types and variations of them are highly sought after by collectors because they are considered very interesting for use in jewelry, crafts, and collectibles. I have previously shown here on the channel that some agates can have impressive values depending on the color and type in which they are found. If you look around, you'll probably find very cheap agates being sold on the market. But some agates are so special that they can easily exceed $1,000 after being polished. That's the price of a real gemstone. So it's worth keeping an eye out when you're looking for stones in the river and spending time in nature. Agates are indeed stones with the potential to be valuable. But apart from agates, another stone you can easily find in nature is chalcedony. You'll usually find chalcedony in shades of brown or gray. But what few people know is that chalcedony comes in almost any color. There are some that are extremely valuable, such as blue, green, and purple chalcedony. Of course, chalcedony in these colors is more difficult to find in nature, but there is still a chance, especially if you are in an unexplored area. So if you're an amateur explorer and like to look around for stones, you should know that chalcedonies can be found in a variety of colors. The important thing is to have a beautiful, crystal clear color so that you can draw attention to yourself when you cut it. Different types of chalcedony can be sold as commercial stones, and therefore the price varies greatly from $20 to over $1,000 per kilo, depending on the quality of the stone. And another stone you're sure to find wherever you look is quartz. I'm not necessarily talking about just quartz crystals. I'm talking about the quartz family. There are several types of stones around the world that belong to the quartz family. There are so many different types of quartz that I can't even mention them in this video. But what is the rule to keep in mind? The stone must be translucent and have few or no fractures, regardless of its color. It's very common to find quartz in nature, especially in rivers. You'll find some with inclusions inside, but that's normal. It is a semi-transparent stone with inclusions. These stones are highly sought after for jewelry making because they are all unique, which means they are exclusive. For this reason, these types of quartz need a closer look from you. There are several types of inclusions, and each inclusion can even be given a specific name. But the same rule applies as for opal, jasper, agate, and chalcedony. What will make your stone a valuable stone is the color and also the designs or inclusions that may be inside these stones. And this will make all the difference when it comes to making money from these pieces. If possible, consult an experienced geologist or prospector in your area before starting your search. But if you don't have either, I'll leave you with our digital gemology beginner's book, where you can learn to identify all the stones you find in nature with at-home tests without the need for expensive equipment. And remember, we're talking about semi-precious stones here, not very precious stones. Don't expect any one stone to have a very high value. But who knows when your big lucky day will come? So don't lose hope, because unlike precious stones, where you have to search hard to find a single high-value stone, semi-precious stones can be found in large quantities in the same place. So even if you find cheaper stones, their quantity can end up filling your pocket with dollars. And sometimes it is much more financially profitable to find semi-precious stones than precious stones of very high value, especially if this is a hobby for you. So please take this opportunity to tell us where in the country you're from. Many people with a little courage and desire can end up making great finds in nature or even on an ordinary walk around the farm in a rural area. Some very rare stones are found each month by our subscribers who report these incredible finds here in the comments. Finding semi-precious gems doesn't require any special technology or equipment, so make it your main goal to have fun and relax on walks and hikes in nature. And if you're lucky, you could win a few $1 million with the discovery of a rare diamond. But have you ever wondered why diamonds are worth so much? And if they are worth so much, would you like to know where to look to find them? Well, if you're interested, just watch this video. Thanks for liking and subscribing. Good luck, gem hunters!